Dear students, today we will start the next part of our syllabus, that is phytogeography. That is biodiversity part is over. Then today onwards we will concentrate on our studies related to the topics from phytogeography. Okay. And exam point of view, the phytogeography part you can expect essay question and also some of the 4-mark questions, but more than the exam point of view, you botany people should know the relation between the plants or animals with the earth or earthen conditions. Okay, that is the actually the phytogeography is now your part of the syllabus. Okay, coming to our first class from this phytogeography. Uh, First we will study about what is this phytogeography. So phytogeography definition can ask for 1-mark question. So what is phytogeography? Phytogeography or plant geography is the study of environmental relations and global distribution of plants both in time and space. That is how the plants and the environment and what are the reasons for the origin of that particular plant in a particular locality of earth, what is the relationship, and all these studies are related to the global distribution of flora. Okay, that is, suppose we are considering a temperate zone or a polar region, there is no origin or the evolution of mesophytic plants there, because the climate is not adapted to thrive their life for the mesophytic plants. So always in accordance with the earth's conditions, a plant will originate. So what are such relations that part of the science to study all these are considered as phytogeography. So this phytogeography it has two basic aspects: historical aspect and ecological aspect. Okay, that is, these aspects are in connection with the phytogeographical studies. So how we can categorize these plants in accordance with its historical background and ecological background. Okay, so what is this historical aspect? And it deals with the distribution of plants in past and also with their evolution and dispersal in course of time. That is, these are all part which is connected with the extinct plants, and what are the circumstances a particular plant is threatened, and at last how it is extinct. And all these studies are coming under, all these aspects are coming under this historical aspects of phytogeography. That is, extinct plants and also the patterns of distribution of the extinct flora. Wherever this particular plant now, sometimes it is occurring in earth only in the form of fossil sometimes. Okay, and that study, that is historical aspect. And what is this ecological aspect of phytogeography? And it is concerned with the geographical distribution of plants in relation to environment and other ecological factors. So this particular point I explained at the starting point, that is the as introduction, that is we discussed about this distribution of plants, that is according to climatic conditions or the earth's edaphic factors, climatic factors, and the soil conditions, a plant may originate in that particular plant. So suppose in a salty area, halophytic conditions, there we can see this halophytes. There we can't expect any normal xerophytic plants. There is no chance. So such aspects are all coming under this ecological aspects. That is, that the plant will origin or thrive or grow in accordance with the geographical distribution and climatic conditions or ecological factors are affecting the origin of a particular plant, that is ecological aspect. So, coming the introductory part, that is this phytogeography. To study this phytogeography, we should know about these two aspects, that is the historical aspects and ecological aspects. Okay. Then, what are the major divisions of phytogeography? There are two major sections or divisions of phytogeography, that is descriptive or static phytogeography or interpretive or dynamic phytogeography. So, its name itself, we can somewhat understand what is the meaning of this descriptive and interpretive. Okay. Anyway, we will study in detail. What is this descriptive or static phytogeography? So, it deals with the actual description of floristic or vegetational groups found in different parts of the world. Okay, that is description. Description about that what are the plants living in evergreen forests. Okay, see this particular photograph itself, we can see there is a lush green view. That photographer took this particular beautiful photograph through the canopy, that is the outstretch of that forest, that is we can hardly see the sea, hardly see the sky. Okay, and see this forest area. So, this type of forest we can see only in evergreen forests. Okay. So, that is the descriptive or static phytogeography. So, that is deals with the actual description of floristic or vegetational groups found in different parts of the world. Early plant geographs described floras and attempts to divide earth into floristic and botanical zones. So, while considering this climatic conditions and the floristic or plant conditions of the different parts of our earth, we can divide the earth zones also. Okay. So, tropical climatic conditions like and that too a climatic condition like Kerala, here we can expect deep jungles. Okay. And likewise, while describing the floras or plant types, we can divide the earth into different floristic zones. That is desert climatic conditions, desert plants are growing there, and seashore we can get mangrove fields also, because salty here and there we can expect the salty conditions. And in near to mountain or the temperate zone, can see coniferous plants are there. So, that is the actual meaning of this descriptive or static phytogeography. Okay. And what is this interpretive or dynamic phytogeography? What is the meaning of dynamic? It is moving. Okay. Then what is the meaning of this interpretive or dynamic phytogeography? That is, this deals with the dynamics of migration and evolution of plants and floras. Okay. Why the normally organisms move from one place to other, and due to the scarcity of water and overcrowding of plants, then how these plants will move? That is, plants can move while dispersing their seeds. Okay. And it explains the reasons for varied distribution of plant species in different parts of the world. Okay. And even though they are static organisms, they are also performing this migration. So, it is a borderline science involving synthesis and integration of data and concepts from several specialized disciplines like ecology, physiology, genetics, taxonomy, evolution. All are dealing with this, because survival of the fittest. Okay. And that is, any plant is not able to spread their groups into adaptable conditions or move from in search of water while spreading their root system or spreading their branches to gather enough sunlight, or any such adaptive measures are not developed by that plant, it won't fit for the fit for that adverse climatic conditions. So normally they will perish. Okay. So it is that is, all these characteristics are in connection with their physiological, genetical and taxonomical or evolutionary aspects. Okay, paleontology and geology. So according to Good, Mason and Kane and some others have pointed out the factors involved in the distribution of plants. Okay, how this such dynamic phytogeography we can, what are the reasons for that? All it is a research field related to this phytogeographical migrations. And Lawrence in 1951 has suggested the following 13 modern principles of phytogeography, which are classified into 4 groups. So this may ask 4 more questions. Okay, what are the principles of phytogeography? And I think 5 years back on essay question, it is from this particular part, that is for 15 marks. What are the principles of phytogeography, which are principles of phytogeography in connection with the plant migrations or survival? Okay, so you expect a 4 more question. Okay, then all these principles, that is in accordance with the Lawrence, and it is in he suggested this 13 modern principles of phytogeography in 1951, and he divided all these 13 principles into 4 different heads. Okay, what are these heads? Principles concerning environment. So this all reasons for this type of divisions of phytogeography which are directly involved with the environment. And principles concerning plant responses. So that is, if the adverse climatic conditions are coming, normally we can see some group of plants, they shed their leaves. Okay, that is if autumn season, just before autumn they will shed leaves. So such plant responses. Okay, then the principles concerning the migration of flora and climaxes. What is the meaning of this climax vegetation or climax? What is the meaning of climax? You already studied in ecology part. What is this climaxes? It is the definition for climax vegetation is, it is the dominant and stable vegetation combination achieved naturally under particular environmental conditions over a long period of time. Suppose a particular land is forming, and without any involvement of human or anthropogenic effects, that in that area a forest is slowly developing. And here this photograph is showing the aerial view of a thick forest. Okay, so it is the climax vegetation of that forest. Suppose in grassland, and we can expect a maximum growth of biodiversity of the grass species is there, then that is the climax vegetation of grassland. Okay, and likewise here, what are the third principles concerning the migration of floras and climaxes? Okay, and after the migration a particular area it is well flourished, then that is the climax vegetation. Okay, fourth principle, principles concerning the perpetuation and evolution of floras and climaxes. How a particular area it is not migrating, and there it is adapting to live or face the adverse climatic conditions, and survives, and as a result we can expect a maximum growth of a particular vegetation in a particular area. There also we can expect climaxes. And so the 13 principles we are going to study can be categorized into these four heads. What are they? Principles concerning environment, principles concerning plant responses, principles concerning the migration of floras and climaxes, principle concerning the perpetuation and evolution of floras and climaxes. Okay. So now coming to the principles. So first principles categorized under the first category, that is concerning environment. So first principle, at some points are easy, some are little bit explanatory. So first one, the distribution of plants is primarily controlled by climatic condition. Okay, so any forest area or any grassland, if what are the driving force there, that is the adequate climatic condition for the growth. Okay, so the first principle is the distribution of plants is primarily controlled by climatic conditions. Number two, there has been variation in climate during geological history in the past, which affected migration of plants. So we can see some differences of climatic conditions within 5 years itself nowadays. Okay, and in history, suppose we are studying about the historical aspects of phytogeography, there we can see in some areas we can see a drastic change of climatic conditions. That may that may leads to the migration of plants. Okay. Then the third one, the relation between the land masses and seas have varied in past. The large land masses split up into form new land masses, that is Gondwana theories. Okay. First only a single continent is there, that is very long back, and as a result still itself the continents are moving upon the crust. So slowly we can see the some mountains are increasing its height, some mountains are slowly changed to plains. So all these movements of land masses are still going on. So that may be reason for some sort of this distributions of plants. So this is a third principle which is related to the principle concerning environment. Okay, see this particular old temple, now it's completely encircled by deep jungle. See, likewise we can expect so many differences while we are considering the historical aspects of phytogeography. Okay. Then the fourth one related to environment is some soil conditions on plains and mountains of different land masses show secondary control on distribution of vegetation. For example, halophytes, then so many such edaphic factors, salt conditions, then hydrophytic conditions, mesophytic conditions. So all these areas we can expect different kinds of soil conditions also. Okay, and that may be reason. Then fifth point, the fifth principle, it is the biotic factors also play important role in distribution and establishment of plant species. Other reason ആയിരിക്കാം. Then biotic factors, that is the in some cases food web may be a reason, food chain may be a reason. Okay, then sixth point, the environment is holocentric. What is the meaning of holocentric? That is, all environmental factors have combined effects on vegetation of a place. Okay, environmental factors have combined effect, that is some case abiotic factors and biotic factors both are acting upon this the fate of the a particular area that is concerned with the floristic aspects. What are the types of plants there? We can expect, that is, it is a holocentric effect. Okay. Then the second principle, that is principles concerning plant responses, that is our seventh factor, that is range of distribution of plants is limited by their tolerances. Each plant species has a range of climatic and edaphic conditions. Okay, that is, suppose the migration or distribution of plants is limited by their tolerances. So, suppose due to some intolerance, a plant may migrate from one place to other, but in the second place they are migrating and that area is with a harsh climatic condition, then that plant won't survive there. Okay. So, tolerant factor or tolerant capacity is actually directly connected with its genetic characteristics. So, each plant species has a range of climatic and adaptive conditions. Therefore, tolerance of large taxon is the sum total tolerance of its constituent species. Okay. Suppose a genus is completely migrating with its species. So, among them some species may survive, some won't. Okay. So, that is the tolerant factor. And eighth point, tolerance have a genetic basis. Already I told, the response of plants to environment is governed by their genetic makeup. How the genetically fit for, that is some case in nature hybrid plants have found to have wider range of tolerance. Natural hybrids may occur and they will show high rate of tolerance. Okay. And the ninth point, different ontogenic phases have different tolerances, that is different evolutionary lines, that is ontogeny. Ontogenic phases have different tolerances. Different developmental stages of plants show different degree of tolerances. As for example, seeds and mature plants have more tolerance to temperature and moisture variations than their seedlings. Okay. That is seed dormancy is there, and the seed dormancy can be different for different species, and so it is directly related to the genetical conditions. But if the seed starts to germinate, the tolerance or the dormancy breaks. Okay. So, these are all coming under this principles concerning plant responses. Then the third category, that is principles concerning the migration of flora and climaxes. That is 10th point. Large scale migrations have taken place sometimes. The fossils and paleontological evidences reveal that large scale migration of plants and animals have taken place during Mesozoic era and tertiary periods. That is, it is related to the course of evolution. Suppose we are undergoing paleontological studies, we can see, we can get some fossil evidences of plants and we can actually, after excavating them, we can make a map, and while examining the map we can see the migratory lines. We can see from one area, one southern hemisphere to the other part of the world, we can expect some cases. Okay. And migration resulted from transport and establishment. In the process of migration, plants are dispersed to new habitats through their propagules such as spores, seeds, bulbils, etc. and they are established if environmental conditions are favorable. Plants grow and reproduce their progeny perpetuates through ecological adjustments. Okay, that is in some cases, in some along with some migratory birds, we can see the migration of plants also. That is along with their some mechanisms of or modifications of seeds or seeds with some dispersal mechanisms can attach with the body parts of these migratory birds, and they can move from one part of the world to other, or polar from one pole to other also they can move. And if they are able to show that adjustable or adaptable characteristics, they can survive. So, as a result, and plants grow and reproduce their progeny, and perpetuates the new environment through ecological adjustments in the new environment. So that is the 11th one. Then last one, that is the fourth principle, principle group, that is principle concerning the perpetuation and the evolution of floras and climaxes. That is 12th one, that is perpetuation depends first upon migration, secondary upon the ability of the species to transmit the favorable variations to the progenies. So if you suppose after migration the plants produce some adverse modifications, then normally the plant won't survive. So the any adaptive mechanism it is developing by its own as after the migration or perpetuation, then the favorable variations produced in that progeny will help the plant to survive there. Okay. Then 13, the evolution of floras and climaxes depends upon the migration, evolution of species and environmental selections. So that here the photographs, that is first one, forest vegetation is there slowly, and along with the it is producing some herbs and shrubs also, and after some period then land mass is slowly turned into a xerophytic climatic condition, and as a result it is not able to survive even though it grows up to small trees. So that evolution of floras and climaxes depends upon the migration, evolution of species. Evolution of species means how they are able to withstand that climatic conditions and adapt and raise adaptive mechanisms. Otherwise it normally perishes. Okay. And so these are the 13 somewhat dry portion. Anyway, it is the as part of the review of this particular first chapter of this phytogeography, that is there we studied about what is this phytogeography and what are the disciplines or sessions of phytogeography, that is interpretive phytogeography, then descriptive phytogeography, then what are the principles of phytogeography. For our convenience, we categorized these 13 principles into different sections for easy understanding. Okay. Okay, try to study, and next class we will study about some more interesting part, that is the forest types of India, forest types of world. Okay. So if you are having any doubt, please ask. Thank you.